In the vast, untamed wilderness of our ancient Earth, the first humans began their extraordinary journey. Their world was a place of immense beauty and great danger, a landscape shaped by powerful forces of nature. These early people did not have the comforts we know today. Every day was a struggle for survival, a constant test of their ingenuity and resilience. They lived in small, close-knit groups, forever on the move, their lives dictated by the changing seasons and the relentless search for sustenance. Their existence was a delicate dance with the environment, a continuous adaptation to the challenges that surrounded them at every turn. These early humans were nomads, wanderers across the Great Plains and through dense forests. They did not build permanent homes or towns because their food sources were always moving. They followed the great herds of animals, like mammoths and bison, which provided them with meat, skins, and bones. When the seasons changed, they would also move to find ripening fruits, nuts, and edible plants. This nomadic lifestyle required a deep understanding of the natural world. They knew the paths of the animals, the cycles of the plants, and the signs of changing weather, knowledge passed down through generations, essential for their very survival. The diet of our ancestors was varied and dependent on what the land offered. They were hunter-gatherers, a term that perfectly describes their two main strategies for finding food. The men often took on the dangerous task of hunting large game, a cooperative effort that required great skill, courage, and teamwork. Meanwhile, the women and children typically gathered plant-based foods. They searched for berries, roots, seeds, and leaves, providing a more reliable and consistent part of their diet. This combination of hunting and gathering ensured that the group had enough to eat, balancing the risks of the hunt with the certainty of foraging. Life for these early people was intimately connected to the rhythms of nature. Their world was one without maps or calendars as we know them. Instead, they read the stars, the sun, and the land itself. They understood that to survive, they had to live in harmony with their surroundings, taking only what they needed and respecting the powerful forces that governed their world. This profound connection to the earth was not just a matter of belief, but a practical necessity. Their story is the very beginning of our own, a testament to the remarkable ability of humans to endure, adapt, and ultimately, to thrive against all odds. To survive in their challenging world, early humans needed more than just strength and knowledge. They needed tools. Their first inventions were wonderfully simple, yet they represented a monumental leap in cognitive ability. By striking one stone against another, they learned to create sharp edges. These first stone tools, like hand axes and choppers, were incredibly versatile. They could be used to butcher animals, scraping meat from the bone and cracking them open for the nutritious marrow inside. They could also be used to dig for roots or to shape wood into other useful objects, like simple spears for hunting or defense. As time went on, their tool-making skills became more refined and sophisticated. They discovered that different types of stone had different properties. Flint, for example, could be chipped to create an incredibly sharp and durable edge, perfect for making spearheads and knives. They learned to attach these crafted stone points to wooden shafts, creating more effective hunting weapons that allowed them to hunt from a safer distance. This innovation was a game-changer, increasing their success in the hunt and reducing the risk of injury from large, dangerous animals. Each new tool was a small victory, a step forward in their quest for mastery over their environment. Protection from the elements was another critical challenge. Early humans sought shelter in natural formations, such as caves and rock overhangs. These provided a ready-made defense against predators and harsh weather. However, where caves were not available, they used their growing skills to construct their own simple shelters. They would build frames from animal bones, like the massive tusks of a woolly mammoth, or from sturdy tree branches. They then covered these frames with animal hides or layers of turf and moss. These primitive huts offered warmth and safety, a place for the group to rest and find refuge from the cold winds and rain. Clothing was also a vital innovation, particularly as humans migrated into colder climates. Their first clothes were made from the skins and furs of the animals they hunted. After an animal was butchered, its hide would be carefully scraped clean using stone scrapers. The cleaned hides were then left to dry. These furs provided essential insulation against the biting cold, allowing humans to survive in environments that would have otherwise been uninhabitable. They learned to stitch these hides together using thin strips of leather and bone needles, creating more fitted garments that offered better protection and flexibility for their daily activities. Before they could speak as we do, early humans communicated in other ways. They used a system of gestures, body language, and simple sounds to share information and express feelings. A pointing finger could indicate the direction of a herd, a sharp cry could signal danger, and a gentle touch could offer comfort. This basic form of communication was essential for coordinating hunts, warning others of predators, and maintaining social bonds within the group. Over thousands of years, these simple sounds and gestures slowly evolved. They became more complex, more nuanced, eventually laying the groundwork for the development of spoken language, a truly transformative human achievement. The discovery of how to control fire was perhaps the single most important moment in our early history. At first, they may have only used fire from natural sources like a lightning strike that set a tree ablaze. But eventually, they learned to create it themselves, perhaps by striking stones together to create a spark or by rubbing sticks to generate heat through friction. This discovery changed everything. Fire provided a reliable source of warmth, allowing humans to survive in cold climates and to remain active after the sun went down. It was a beacon of light in the darkness, profoundly altering the rhythm of their daily lives. Fire offered more than just warmth and light. It provided a powerful new form of protection. The flickering flames and crackling sounds of a campfire were enough to keep dangerous nocturnal predators like saber-toothed cats and cave bears at a safe distance. This newfound security meant that early humans could sleep more soundly. Their caves and shelters transformed into safe havens. Furthermore, fire revolutionized their diet. Cooking meat and plants not only made them taste better, but also made them easier to digest and safer to eat, killing harmful bacteria. This improved nutrition likely played a crucial role in the development of the growing human brain. The invention of the wheel came much later in human history, but it was no less revolutionary. Before the wheel, transporting heavy goods overland was an immense struggle, limited by what a person or an animal could drag or carry. The wheel, when combined with an axle, created the cart. Suddenly, it was possible to move large quantities of food, building materials, or trade goods with relative ease. This invention transformed transportation and trade, allowing communities to connect with each other over greater distances. It made the movement of armies and the building of cities far more efficient, accelerating the pace of human development in remarkable ways. For millennia, humanity lived a nomadic life, but a great change was on the horizon. In different parts of the world, small groups of people began to notice something incredible. They observed that seeds dropped on the ground would, in time, sprout into new plants. This simple observation sparked a revolutionary idea. What if they could plant seeds deliberately? This was the dawn of agriculture. Instead of wandering to find plants, they could now grow them in one place. They started with wild grasses like wheat and barley, selecting the seeds from the best plants each year to create healthier, more abundant crops. This shift to farming, known as the Neolithic Revolution, fundamentally changed the human story. Growing crops required people to stay in one location to tend to their fields, to plant the seeds, water them, and protect them until the harvest. This meant they could no longer wander as hunter-gatherers. For the first time, humans began to build permanent settlements. They constructed more durable homes from mud, stone, and wood, creating the world's first villages. This new, settled lifestyle brought a sense of stability and permanence that had been unknown to their nomadic ancestors. Life was no longer a constant journey, but a cycle centered on the seasons of planting and harvesting. Alongside cultivating plants, humans also began to domesticate animals. Instead of hunting wild goats, sheep, and cattle, they learned to capture and tame them. They bred the animals that were the most docile and provided the most milk, meat, or wool. These domesticated animals were a reliable source of food, eliminating the uncertainty of the hunt. They also provided other valuable resources, such as leather for clothing and bone for tools. Larger animals like oxen could even be used to pull plows, making farming more efficient and allowing people to cultivate larger areas of land than ever before. This transition from a nomadic to a settled agricultural life was one of the most significant turning points in history. It led to a more reliable food supply, which allowed human populations to grow. With more food and permanent homes, new opportunities arose. Not everyone had to be a farmer or a hunter. Some people could become artisans, leaders, or priests. This specialization of labor led to new technologies, more complex societies, and the rise of the first towns and cities. The wandering hunter who once followed the herds had become a farmer, rooted to the land, laying the foundations for the world we live in today.